Welcome everyone to the AEW Rewind podcast. My name is Shawn DeLong,
I'm Justin Bradley.
and this was another really good episode of Dynamite.
This was incredible, man. They've been killing it lately. Last week they had they had like 1,016,000 viewers, which is one of their best shows ever as far as ratings go.
I think that was the first time they went over 1,000,000.
And since the pandemic, they hit the million like the first couple episodes, and then
Well, that was
to the beginning. But like since the pandemic, this was the first time that they got over 1,000,000, and it was like better than just 1,000,000. It was like 16,000 on to that. And they followed it up with another great episode. I think I'm seeing these positive ratings and everybody's really liking it. The crowds are back somewhat, they've been really excited, and it seems like they're like they like flipped the switch or something, and it just seems like they're back to like AEW style shows.
It has been a little. It does. There has been a different feel to these shows recently. They do feel a lot more like classic,
Yeah, time flies through it. Like this tonight. It was like, oh, it's already 9 o'clock, and then it was like, oh, it's already time for the main event. Like it was pretty fast tonight again, and there's a lot of crazy good building for next week as well with the tag match, the 6-man tag match. We'll get into that. A lot of good stuff. And then I don't know if you want to talk about real quick that they signed Will Hobbs. I mean, which showed up later, but they announced it on Twitter that's a great signing.
On Twitter. Yeah, everyone was excited to hear about it in the comments.
He's a really good talent. He has star-making potential, in my opinion, but he's a little ways away from that. But could have some good matches with Brian Cage, Rosa, Miro.
Yeah, he's young and he's a good up and comer that they can have on the card.
Yeah, he's gonna be good.
So, at first we have is the Jurassic Express going against FTR, but wait, Young Bucks immediately come out and they super kick the ref.
Yeah, just for no reason, but this is great. We talked about this recently, with this whole Young Bucks kind of turning heel, whatever they're doing here.
They super kicked Marvez last week.
Yeah, so it's again great. I mean, it was just it wasn't great, but it was just good to see the Bucks turning heel. In my opinion, I always say it's the best version of them, and I think a lot of people would agree with me.
The Bucks are having an interesting dynamic where they're just like once again like super kicking everybody and like at random times like they did in this segment.
Yeah, and they super kick them. They go back into the tunnel, and then they throw money at Tony Khan, which was funny because like they paying their fine, probably even more money in that pile of whatever cash than what they had to, knowing that they just super kicked a ref.
I bet they're gonna somehow turn the whole getting fined thing into like a T-shirt or something eventually. I can see it happening.
They're always about the merch freaks, as Nick would say.
They know how to make merchandise, and I feel like this whole getting fined thing is gonna turn into a catchphrase of some sort.
Yeah, for sure. And then so they keep walking, and there's FTR getting ready to go out for their match. They're like, "Oh, where are your elite buddies?" Like kind of talking to them like babies, and it was funny. They just kept walking off, like pissed off, and FTR come out, and now we have this match, which was good.
It was, yeah. I was say like sometimes some of these matches you can just explain it as they're really good matches.
Yeah, like my thing was with this is like the winner. I mean, the point was that if they want Jurassic Express won, they would have a title shot in the future. But so I was like, oh, they could win this and have an excuse like a roll up, and then FTR could just beat them for in the title match.
Yeah,
so I really didn't know. I really didn't know what. Yeah, I didn't know what was gonna happen, and that's kind of made it more interesting for me. Like, because I couldn't predict the result as much as I could if this wasn't for the title, like a potential title shot or a title shot.
Yeah, because in the end, the FTR get the win after some tag team chicanery, I guess, from some outside. They're holding down
Jungle Boy. Yeah, but it was a really good match. They gave it some time. I think it went like 12 minutes ish, which was pretty good time for that. I FTR continues to show why they're one of the best tag teams in the world, to me at least. Some people find them boring. But to me, it's just classic wrestling right here. I mean, they don't do too many. They say it, no flips, just fists or whatever. I don't know if that's their thing anymore, but.
Yeah, because like not everyone's gonna immediately find their type of style entertaining when you have a Private Party, which is on later, and the Young Bucks and all of them, which
Even
are all
Jurassic
about
Express.
Yeah, which are all about going balls to the wall, crazy, in every match.
Bros. Yeah. But
they bring something different to the table that I feel like that the company in itself kind of needs.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, they're just AEW just is a spot fest and all this stuff." Well, it's like not really. I mean, they do fun spots, but like they're wrestling. It's not like these guys can only do spots, But if it pleases some of the 50 plus or whatever they're trying to get after with FTR, I'm all for it because I enjoy it, and I'm excited to see what they do with these belts. I'm sure it's gonna be a long reign and a bunch of great storylines along the way.
So they then go to the back, which they show Marvis trying to get an update on Matt Hardy, but we find him getting taken out in the back. Hold on to his knee.
He's just on the floor. And I was like, oh no, Matt Hardy's back from wrestling. His break was pretty short. But no, Private Party's like checking him out. And then Jericho and Hager come up. And Jericho's like, it looks swollen. That knee looks pretty bad. You might have to amputate it. I was like, oh my god. And then Hager told him to put ice on it. Just kind of heal. I mean, obviously it was pretty obvious who did this.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious because it sets up the match later.
Draw the lines here. But it was funny. I mean, it obviously gave some more meaning to the match, which I liked.
Do you think whenever Matt Hardy does come back, it's gonna lead to another, like he's gonna have like a match with Jericho or something?
Well, I didn't. He challenged Jericho to a match at his house or whatever on the Ultimate Deletion, like during the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah, that was a while ago, and I never really did anything with that. Was that like a thing with it just kind of, I don't know, I feel like it was something that came up and they were never able to do it.
Yeah, I don't probably the pandemic.
It
was the very beginning of the pandemic, so I think a lot of people were kind of like nervous and like, I don't know if like that would have been a lot of people they would have probably needed to record that, I'd imagine, for like a cinematic match type thing. But I'm sure, I mean, they could do this anytime they wanted to. Like the storyline, I don't think would really have to be that crazy for them to do this.
I think it would be perfectly fine if this would be his, like, Matt Hardy's match back after coming back from his injury, be like a match like that.
In my opinion, I don't want to see Matt Hardy wrestle anymore, but I mean, if he wants to, that's fine. I mean, I just don't think he should be doing any crazy deletion matches or anything, but if it's cinematic, obviously, it's not live TV, they can kind of prepare things better than that Sammy match.
That's where they can, like, it can protect him in certain ways.
Yeah, they could do a lot of stuff, so I'd be fine with that. I think him and Jericho, they already showed in the Stadium Stampede some things. I can only imagine the two creative minds right there thinking about a deletion match.
Yeah. Definitely, because they both can come up, you see, from the stipulation matches that Jericho has came up with, that anything is possible.
Yeah, I can't, like, Jericho's probably not even, he's just getting started with probably all these stipulation, like, fun things.
Yeah. He's done
a lot of them. Oh yeah, he's been waiting for him to be able to do this all. Like, he probably has had all these thoughts for years. Like, I mean, maybe not the Orange Cassidy one, but like, he's definitely had some thoughts from movies and stuff that he's like, I probably could put this into wrestling. But Vince, Vince McMahon.
Yeah, so next on the show, we have the next match of the night. We have Frankie Kazarian versus Hangman and Paige.
And Kenny's on commentary here, which is obviously an interesting little factor here, even though not really much happened between them at all. It was just Omega was talking about Paige the whole time, and it was interesting to hear kind of how he wasn't acting like his friend at all. Like, he was just kind of being like a neutral person about it. and he started like laughing at one point when Hangman was like getting beat up. I don't know, it was kind of funny. But I mean, we all kind of knew here that Hangman was gonna win, unless like Kenny cost him the match or something. But Kazarian still got it, man. He can still wrestle for like he can still wrestle some good matches, not just tag team matches. So it was good to see that. Hangman's incredible.
Of course, yeah. You see that he's really stepped it up over since his first run when he was leading up to his title match against Chris Jericho. Things have definitely stepped up.
Yeah, his whole character. I mean, he's probably the most interesting character in wrestling right now. Like in all of companies. Like I don't know, this like his character and the storylines he's in right now are just it's crazy good.
And also, I feel like this whole situation with Omega being where you say like he's being very neutral. I feel like the neutral thing is gonna go away soon.
Oh yeah, it definitely will. Well, it kind of showed he kind of wasn't neutral at the end after the match, which we'll get into. I mean, I don't know. It was a really even match the whole way through, but Hangman's just the better wrestler, you know.
Yeah, because he gets the way with the buckshot lariat to get the win.
That was it, and then Kenny said, "All right, guys, I'm out. I'm gonna see you guys later, or whatever." And he just leaves, and then Hangman's celebrating his win and turns around and sees Kenny's not there at the commentary desk anymore, and he's gone. So again, I mean, I don't know where Kenny goes from here as far as his singles run. I don't know what they do.
Kenny. They have to set up a Kenny Omega a Hangman match eventually.
What I think they should do is get Hangman or get Kenny the belt. Kenny, I mean, they would have to wait a while, or not a while, but Kenny would have to somehow win the belt. So it would have to be like full year or later, and then I would say have Hangman win it off of Kenny, and if in front of a crowd if possible, because that match would be incredible with a crowd, and then the Hangman winning the title in front of everybody. I think that moment would be really special. That would be like my dream scenario.
It's not a bad idea. So after this, they have like a little promo thing to get ready for the street fight later in the night. Which they
showed this on Twitter before. I mean, I think they could have done better, but I mean, it was okay. I didn't think they could have done better.
And then this immediately cuts right to a match with MJF where he goes against Shawn Dean, and the match immediately ends with the Solid Earth armbar.
Yeah, that was really fast.
Like, it was seconds.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, it was good though. I mean,
the more important part is the promo afterwards, of course.
Yeah, that was great. You just want to look at him and you want to punch him in the face. Yeah, just like that's how it is.
This match, I think, was just to put over the fact that you just want to beat this guy up as soon as possible.
And that means he's doing his job well. So he's one of the best, and he's young. He's really young. We talk about this a lot also on this podcast. How special he's gonna be, if not already.
So afterwards, he gets to this promo where basically he points out that Moxley cheated, and which he kind of has a point about that. I was like, yeah, sure, he cheated to win the match, but he then says that he calls himself the undefeated, undisputed, uncrowned champion of all elite wrestling, which of course, his nickname he wants is this really long, drawn out name because that's MJF.
Yep, classic. And then
he makes Justin Roberts say his whole nickname in like his introduction, and he says that maybe the lone wolf needs to join a wolf pack, which of course was the WCW nod. But then he says it doesn't matter because he's still better than you, and you know it.
So, do you think he's actually gonna join somebody?
I don't think he's actually gonna join anybody.
I think if he would do it, I think he would be good in 4 Horsemen role with FTR. I think that would be fun. But then again, Cody. What if Cody and him teamed up with FTR?
So like MJF is such a singles guy that there's just no I don't know. I just can't see it joining any type of team.
Do you think he could join a team and then turn on Wardlow, and then Wardlow's like facing off against like their whole team at once?
I mean, that's possible if they do decide to go for him actually joining a team, but I just can't see it. MJ is such a
I could
he's
see him
just such
leading
a
a
solo
team.
guy.
Yeah, I could lead a team, but not joining one that's already established. But I just don't know who would want to be with him.
Yeah, who would actually want to join MJF in I guess a stable of some sort?
Yeah, because you would know where all the attention would want to go.
Mm.
I would want to go to MJF.
So then after this, we have a segment with Eddie Kingston, his group of guys, where of course he does this thing where like he says he has 3 things. And that is 1, he never lost a battle royal. 2, they're not family. Well, they're not they're not a stable. They're not a faction. They're a family, and they're a family of violence. And when they get like into arguments, some families sell it over dinner. They sell it over fighting people, which basically the Butcher and the Blade then grab just talent at ringside and throw them at Lucha Bros, and they just beat them up.
Yeah, and then Kingston's just talking over it the whole time, which was funny.
And then he's at the end of this. He says the third thing was that that the Blade needs to get his house together.
Yeah. So for anybody, his wife is Allie, who is with QT. So I'd imagine the bunny's coming back. The bunny is coming back. It sounds like is what they're trying to get at.
I mean, yeah, it just kind of seems like it'd be just better for them.
Yeah, because a girl in the group would be cool too, or a woman, whatever. Also, what was I gonna say? But that does mean Dustin Rhodes and QT will probably have to face off, and that means I'm guessing they're gonna wrestle at some point here soon. If that's
I would
what
just have
we're
to figure out. Yeah, it's like I don't know which way they would go. Where would they go to be able to have, Allie like separate away from them?
I could see her just turning on him and like kicking him in the nuts or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I can see
Just
that.
something quick. Like it doesn't have to be much. I mean, like unless they like he uses her, she uses him for something, like for I don't know, for a belt, a chance. I don't know, not a title shot, but I don't know.
Yeah. Also, I was just kind
Something
of
for
thinking
Butcher and
about.
the Blade.
Yeah, because also I was just thinking about they haven't really done anything with the fact that QT basically cost the Nightmare Sisters to lose that match.
That is interesting
They
too.
never really did anything with that.
Yeah, I don't know what they do. That's another interesting angle. I'm interested to see how they get the bunny back, or it might just be as simple as she just shows up and is the bunny again. I could do that, but I don't know.
Yeah, they could do that, but I mean, I guess that of all the options, that one's probably the least interesting. But you know,
it's wrestling. You can do whatever you want.
yeah, they can do whatever they want with this. So afterwards, they have the match between Private Party and Chris versus Chris Jericho and Jake Hager.
Which, I mean, what did you think of this match?
I thought this was a pretty entertaining match. One part I was kind of surprised about is that Jericho didn't really seem like participate much in the match until the very end.
Yeah, I think the heat is really getting to him. That
Possibly.
Jacksonville heat is probably also why he wanted to be a tag team instead of having to wrestle all the time on his own without taking breaks in the middle. That heat is killer. It sounds like I'd hate to sit in that to be a fan. Like I don't know. I just hate really, really hot weather, and if it's like humid like that, I can't even imagine wrestling. But it's
yeah. Private Party uses most of their double team moves and stuff to try to take out Hager. For the most part, it was basically Hager going against Private Party, like a 2-on-1 match, basically for the most part. Besides like some small interaction with Jericho him getting tagged in. But in the end, Jericho does get the win for his team with the juice effect.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of thought they were gonna win. I didn't think they would say they're gonna run the tag team division to get a title shot and lose the second match. Or the second match.
Yeah, that'd be kind of underwhelming if they immediately said they're gonna be a tag team and then lose.
Yeah, but again, like I hope they really don't get a title shot ever. I hope this is just like something to fill time, and I don't know, just to get Jericho on TV, because again, like, we kind of got away. Like, there are other tag teams that you could be using, like TH2, but apparently Jack Evans isn't. And he has like a fracture in his jaw or something. I don't know, so that's kind of why they're probably not wrestling as a tag team. Like, there's some other tag teams you could use instead of this, which is why I thought they got rid of Kenny and Hangman. So.
Yeah, we have to see where that also is, but then afterwards with this match, Jericho starts beating up on Isaiah Cassidy a bit more, and then Mark Fenn comes in to stop him. So it seems like this feud kind of with Private Party and Jake Hager and Chris Jericho could be continuing.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it will continue at some point.
It just kind of seems that way after the implied that Jericho beat up Matt Hardy recently in this episode.
I hope maybe on that special edition of Dynamite, maybe they do a cinematic thing, or Full Gear they do a cinematic thing.
Or maybe they'll take on maybe more of a bigger match. They take it like say like a 6-man or something, where they take on more members of the inner circle. But actually, wait a second, most of them are gone now.
Well, the inner circle, man, it's just kind of like they don't even it doesn't feel like they exist anymore.
Well, yeah, it's just, but that's just because like in the context of the of what's happened recently. Like Sammy is supposed to be still selling the injuries from falling off the set from that match. Let's say
Proud and Powerful doing their own thing.
They were, they had their thing tonight. So yeah, it just kind of it is what it is right now with the inner circle.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of think their popularity, I think, is still this. I think it went down a little bit, but
probably.
I feel like they've pretty much done like everything they could so far with the inner circle. Like, there's not too many left teams that they could face.
Yeah, it feels like people. Yeah, it really feels like though the only thing they really can do at this point is all of them kind of do their own thing, but still kind of be known as like the inner circle.
Right. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see like who would be the first people to leave. I could see Proud and Powerful being like, look, man, like, we're in the inner circle and we're losing every match, and then you and Hager make a tag team and are running for the belts. Like, I could see that being a thing.
I can just see like have the inner circle still be a thing, but all of them just kind of breaking off and doing their own stuff for a bit.
Yeah. Well, my thing is, I think Proud and Powerful could run into Hager and Jericho at some point, if that's where they want to go.
Maybe, but I don't know how they would. They always kind of, how they book these tag matches, they always seem like they're always face versus heel in some way.
It's true. Yeah, and you don't really. Yeah, I guess.
So after this match, they kind of do a side announcement that they're gonna have the 6-man tag match between Moxley and Archer, which we'll talk about in a little bit after this. But we have the next match on the night, which they make into the NWA World Women's Championship match, is for Thunder Rosa defending against Ivelisse, which I thought which was a pretty good match in my opinion.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. Like, I mean, I don't think it was crazy good in my opinion. I mean, again, for AEW women's wrestling, I thought this was probably above average. But I thought it was pretty good. Nothing crazy. I didn't really have like a reason to care, in my opinion, for me to care, because it's for an NWA belt. It's not for the company's belt. Like, I just kind of was like, okay, I'm not gonna watch NWA anyway.
They're just trying, it's to promote the brand.
I get it, because they're probably like, they have a good connection, so they probably didn't. NWA is kind of in a bad spot right now, so they're probably trying to keep them relevant.
It's kind of like Kenny defending the AAA title at one point early on.
Yeah, that was against Sammy, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was against Sammy. And let's see, Thunder Rosa was able to get the win with a tombstone pile driver, which I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, that was interesting. Every time I see that move, I mean, it's obviously a legend's move right there with the Undertaker. So everyone
immediately assumes that.
Yeah,
I was not expecting that to be the end of this match. Kind of surprised by that, but I thought she was going to win like the Thunder, like that Thunder Driver that she did that in their first match. But afterwards, Diamante attacks Rosa from behind after the match, and then Shida makes a save. But it seems like Shida might want to actually challenge for the NWA World Women's title.
Yeah, it sounds like they're gonna do another match, and probably I just put both belts on the line just to make it really, really interesting.
That would be really interesting. But I don't think they're gonna do that. I think it's just gonna be an NWA title match, but just have Rosa winning just to kind of even it out.
And then the third one.
Okay, we're not gonna go that far. I
Um,
don't think they would go a third.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, dude, I don't know what they do with this division anymore. Like, I need the borders to open up so you can get some of these women from overseas back.
Because there is a lot of unused talent because everyone's separated.
Riho was literally your first ever world champion, and when's the last time I've even seen her on my TV? Like March?
It's been a long time. That's just because of how everything is right now.
Obviously, but it's just crazy to think about how far we're at now with this thing, and we're still the borders are closed still as far as like overseas, not like
because there's a lot of talent that's in the women's division that are all like overseas talent.
Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, it's cool. I like the diversity of like styles of wrestling and stuff like that.
There's not many like nationally televised wrestling groups that have like really diverse women's wrestlers.
Yeah. Again, like hopefully, obviously, they can at some point bring them back at some point. Pac is another one overseas. We need Pac back. That would be great.
And there is two things in this match that I found interesting. One was that on Dark, Brandon Cutler and Pierre Avalon had a double count out.
You watched it?
No, but I saw it appear on the bottom, like the ticker that kind of goes by, for they show what happened on AEW Dark, and I just saw that they had a double DQ, and I was like, "Yep."
Yeah, they finally had their match against each other, and they both had a double count. They had a double count. They both were barely getting in the ring, and they kept pulling each other out. And then it just got to 10.
Yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. They were not gonna let the fact that they haven't won the match yet
go I don't know what they do for the win, for the final, like the final one. I don't know what you do.
Now that's a match that has to be in front of a crowd.
Yeah, and it's just like it's so sad. I mean, luckily AEW is fortunate enough to have some sort of a crowd. Did you see they're doing like season tickets?
Yes, I saw that.
$175 for seven shows is really good.
That is pretty good.
You could
that's pretty much how it would be if you would actually pay for all those shows.
Depending on the seat, like
depending
on what type of seat, but that could be like 2 shows depending if you want really good seats. That's like 2 shows worth of tickets, but in reality, it's 7.
And the other thing they brought up is that they're gonna have a 1-hour special after the NBA like post show, I guess. I think was it Thursday or Tuesday?
I think Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's dark. So that would be.
They said it was gonna be like a late a late night show, just like an hour long. I saw they're gonna have they're having
Brandy and Anna Jay.
I saw was it I'm trying to think of the name who was gonna be on the show.
Scorpio Sky.
And the one who was the Joker at
Matt Seidel's on it?
Yeah, they're supposed to have Matt Seidel wrestling on that 1-hour special.
Interesting. That's good. And I saw Scorpio's wrestling Ben Carter. And Ben Carter, if anybody doesn't know, he was recently on Dark. Who did he wrestle? I completely forget. It might have been Ricky Starks. I don't know. But he had an incredible match debut on Dark. And then he had a match with Brian Cage at Warrior Wrestling this past weekend. It was insane. Seth Rollins trains him. Really good wrestler. I hope AEW signs him. He's an up-and-comer. Also kind of like a Will Hobbs.
Yeah. That sounds interesting. Definitely have to check out that 1-hour special on Tuesday. We'll probably bring it up like parts of what happened on the next episode.
Yeah, we could talk about that before the Dynamite episode review. Just do that like 30, just like a short couple minutes before.
Yeah, just a short few minute talk right before the main episode. But next we have a vignette featuring Miro, who's working out, and Kip Sabian's talking, and it seems like Miro's kind of forgotten a little bit about the wedding, and he's been really thinking about being in the ring.
Yeah, he looks jacked. Like I don't. Miro's been
he looks
rich.
really good compared to even like how he was in WWE.
Yeah, he looked crazy strong. And then it was funny because I don't know. Do you play Call of Duty?
Oh yeah, I swore I was like, as soon as he went like, oh, before the ring, there's gonna be a great bachelor's party, and then all of a sudden I heard at one point he brought up like, oh, Verdansk at one point, and I was like, wait a second, was that a Modern Warfare Warzone reference?
Yeah, because they play they're Twitch streamers, so they play Warzone together, which is kind of funny. But they were talking about all the Call of Duty guns, like the CAR and the Grau and the M4, and it was funny. But man, I can't wait to see what they do with Miro, man.
I like the fact that they're not afraid to be like, oh yeah, this guy plays video games and likes to stream that stuff.
Yeah, and it's okay that you can promote your own stuff and it's okay.
And they just openly talk about video games in the middle of Dynamite.
Yeah, dude. What do you think they do with Miro? Do you think he turns on him?
I don't know. I feel like they might still be like friends for a while with Kip Sabian, just until like as like a first thing to do before like breaking off.
I can't tell if they're faces or heels. I mean, Miro's obviously like I don't know, dude. I don't know. Like, are they supposed to be heels or what
they really are supposed to be?
I'll have to see, obviously, with who they face, but I feel like you should run with them as faces.
Possibly, yeah. All this is supposed to be going to this, the whole wedding thing that's supposed to happen eventually on Dynamite.
Yeah, imagine that happens on the anniversary show, maybe.
Yeah, that's probably where they're gonna have it. It would just kind of make sense.
Just a little kind of cool down from something.
I kind of like the dynamic of they're just kind of like two guys at the same time are friends that just like to talk, like play video games with each other.
Yeah, it's cool. It's kind of a modern kind of thing. It's kind of video games are huge right now, obviously, and the new consoles are coming out, so it's good timing for everything, like video game wise.
Especially with all like the streaming services and all that. And next we have is probably one of our favorite moments of the entire episode is this whole segment that starts off with Jake Roberts coming out, where he basically comes out as like he kind of goes, it says a bunch of like quotes and stuff like that, like sayings. And basically says that, well, if it would be in life or is it in like business or sometimes even politics, everyone ends up in someone else's bed, and they need a team for this 6-man tag match that's gonna be next week. So it's like if they want to get in someone's bed, they might as well be the devil. And he brings out, he calls for Taz to come out with Team Taz.
I predicted this because there's two of Team Taz, and I mean it just kind of made sense.
It kind of makes sense when like they say who is going to be a part of this match. It was kind of obvious who it was going to be now.
Except Will Hobbs, kind of.
Yeah, except for Will Hobbs, which we'll get into. But yeah, so Taz comes out and he talks about like basically confirms that there will be a team for next week, and he says that they have a deal where if Lance wins the title at the anniversary episode, he will face Brian Cage first for the title.
And I feel like that's. Do you think that's too obvious? Like I think that's trying to like swerve everybody. Like, obviously Lance. I don't know.
Yeah, personally, I don't think Lance is gonna. I don't know.
Love to see that match though.
I'm still divided just for the fact that Lance losing another high-profile match would be kind of bad for his look right now. But I don't know.
Which makes you wonder though. That means that they're going to have a big impact in that title match. They're probably Brian Cage is probably going to help them win. Then I don't know. I feel like they could play a big role because Cage obviously wants a title match.
Yeah,
so if he's going to be like, oh well, if I help him win, I get a title match. I can beat Lance.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know.
So of course this then afterwards then Lance cuts a promo then, which I think firstly in my mind I think that was his first promo he's cut in like AEW without like yelling or like speaking very fast and out of breath.
Talking like Batman or something.
Yeah, it was just kind of it was different than how usually Lance cuts promos prior to this, but then this leads to Moxley coming out, and I really like this is where at first like you kind of notice there's like someone in the background, and it turns out to be Ricky Starks disguised as like a crowd like a fan in the crowd, and then jumps Moxley from behind, which and Brian Cage joins in as well. And then Will Hobbs comes out to make the save with a chair.
This was great, man. I mean, like we said, they announced earlier in the day about the Will Hobbs signing. Everybody was excited about it. So obviously, with all this, excitement around this guy and his debut, or not debut, but his big showing in the Casino Battle Royal, it's a great
His
time.
first match as a signed signed member of the roster.
And you can tell he'd be a big babyface kind of guy, and he's going to be. And you could tell just how hype he was to like it seemed genuine, like excitement that he was like on TV, like for a big company, and Mox cut a killer promo for him. Really put him over.
And then then afterwards he announces that, of course, who will also be a part of him, it's Darby Allin. Which
so
that was very obvious.
I wonder how Darby's gonna die in this match. That's just my assumption. Apparently he got hurt again.
Yeah,
from the body bag spot.
Yeah, the body bag spot. It's just as soon as it was like, yeah, of course Darby's gonna get pulled along because like John Moxley has basically just adopted him as like I don't know.
Brother.
He's his little kid now. He comes around and he always gets he always helps him out when it's like these tag team match kind of stipulations. Always seems like Darby Allin somehow gets pulled into it, or he makes a save too during he was getting beaten up by like Taz and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean this match is going to be fun, and that's next week, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they said it was going to be next week.
Yeah, so that's going to be great, man. I'm really excited.
Really entertaining.
I think there's going to be a lot of different storylines. Obviously, I think maybe Lance and Brian and Cage get under each other's skin. Maybe, who knows? I think in the end, obviously, I think Mox might pick up the win here.
Yeah, I feel like Mox's team might win. I was thinking that I thought that was just going to end as just because Lance Archer and the Team Taz kind of like not work as well together.
Yeah, and I'm sure Will Hobbs is going to have a heck of a time to like show everybody who like welcome to AEW kind of moment.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. I can't wait.
Also, I was just thinking this is one of the few times they had like 6-man tag matches that actually have some sort of build to it.
Yeah, I'm trying. I mean, they had those crazy like 8-man, those kind of matches, but
this one just kind of threw those together. Felt like this one actually had like build to it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be a great match, man. I think like I said, Mox gets the win. I think Ricky's gonna shine. Everybody in this match is gonna have their time to shine, and it's good for everybody.
So after this, they announced some more stuff that'll be happening next week. They have this is the one. They have Shida and Rosa is teaming up against Ivelisse and Diamante, and then they announce a match that I was really surprised that they actually do really right away, and that's Brody Lee defending the TNT title against Orange Cassidy.
And this match has no build to it whatsoever.
No build, just it's happening.
Yeah, and I don't know. Did you watch BTE this week?
Yeah, I watched BTE this week.
It was great, man. I loved it. But the part where Orange like pushes the water bottle the whole way down the table. And I hate sticky steps. Because they're going on his feet. But that's pretty much the only connection he has with the Dark Order is
BCE. So it's kind of interesting they just kind of threw this together.
It's crazy. Yeah, that was crazy to me that they really didn't build that at all. Obviously, Orange Cassidy showed up as a surprise.
Of course, he shows up later.
Yeah, later, but really, I mean, there's nothing for build, but I'm still excited because it's Brody Lee and
Brody Lee and Orange Cassidy, of course. It's fine. So, so up next we have the parking lot fight between the Best Friends and Santana and Ortiz. And the best way to sum up like the set for this was like, I don't know if you ever like heard about this, was that this kind of reminded me of like the Iron Circle match between like Ken Shamrock and Steve Blackman from way back in the day, where it's just like cars like in a circle kinda, and they're just like starting in the center of the car circle.
Yeah, it gave me like a Fight Club kind of feel, like a movie scene kind of thing, where it was like it cut to like a Fight Club kind of thing where they're just fighting in cars, like people were cheering them on and stuff like that.
Santana Ortiz got white face paint on.
I thought it was Sting. I was like, oh, was that Sting? But it wasn't.
Yeah, I remember they kind of, when they were like Impact, they did like, they had like face paint on for when they had like matches sometimes.
That was really cool, and man, this match was incredible. And Mick Foley, I don't know if you saw on Twitter already, but Mick Foley really put this match over afterwards.
I mean, this was a great street fight.
This was probably one of the best parking lot street fights types of things I've seen in my lifetime. I mean, honestly, like, I'm not kidding. I can't really think of many other street fights that I've seen that I was like, wow, like this.
Well, because like there was really like everything was very entertaining for this. There was really no bad moment of this match. It was just something entertaining after another. Like I want, like you see early on, like Ortiz gets crushed with the hood of a car. Trent threw a 2x, like this gigantic, I don't even call it 2x4, it's like a gigantic, it's basically like a giant pole of wood, as basically, it's like a 2x4 that's even bigger than a regular 2x4. He hits Ortiz with it, and then it ricochets back and hits himself, like in the head.
That was funny, and obviously that wasn't planned. It was just
not
like,
planned at all.
He was just like, oh, and then he like held his eye. And luckily, obviously, he didn't get hurt. Because that could have been a little bad, especially with AEW's recent injury issues with Matt Hardy. But
I say also I'd point out that Ortiz definitely was like the MVP of this match. He took like everything.
I would say Trent too.
Yes.
I mean, Trent. We'll get into what happened to Trent, but he was bloody and
he took a lot of beating. Him and Ortiz just beat each other up in this match. So at one point, where there's the baton that Santana Ortiz have been using recently gets involved. Ortiz threw a sledgehammer that missed and just like got stuck into the windshield of a car.
Yeah, dude, like those spots scare me because I think about like, what if it's botched?
That is true. I've seen like that kind of thing being done in like multiple companies where they just like throw a weapon and misses. Like if it botches, like that's it. Like it's all over right there. Like you just destroy them. Like that would have done like real damage.
Like remember Brian Cage when it was like one of his first shows on Dynamite, and he like jumped Mox in the parking lot, and then he had that like pipe, and he like somehow slightly missed him and hit the windshield or like the side mirror of the car. That was crazy. That was like this, where it was really. I mean, it could have gone bad, but I don't know how you kind of timed that at all. But I'd be scared to throw that.
Yeah, there was a bunch of suplexes on top of cars as well in the match. There's one part Ortiz like takes out like it was like a metal shovel or something and just smashed Trent over the head with it, which had like a crazy like sound to it. It just is also sort of satisfying to us as well.
Yeah. The spots that they were doing in this match were crazy, and then they did the bike rack or whatever.
It was like it was I don't think it was a bike rack. It was like a guard. Yeah, it was like a barricade, a metal barricade. But then everything starts going crazy when where Santana Ortiz double power bomb Trent into the windshield of a car.
That was, and then he got up and you could see like the glass in his back.
Yeah, and then he just starts bleeding afterwards, and it's all over the place.
All on the concrete. I was like, oh my god! I just think of like infections and stuff like that. But it's
like that's just on concrete, man. You don't know what happened on that concrete.
Yeah, Jags fans, man. No, but anyways, yeah, And they did the trash can. They flipped Chuck Taylor on the trash cans, I think, at one point. Those definitely hurt.
And then that's when Chuck gets singled out by Santana Ortiz, and this is where Orange Cassidy comes out to make the save from the just from inside a trunk for some reason.
Yeah, because he was gonna smash Chuck Taylor's head in, or it might have been Trent's. Smashed his head in, and I was like, wait, why'd the car just turn on? I was like, why'd the rear lights just turn on? And then next thing you know, out comes Orange Cassidy from the trunks.
It seems like he can just come out of anywhere to just make saves.
It was funny how calm he was, and then he just Superman punched him with the chain, and then he just picked him up, walked him over, and then just put him down. And he was like, all right, like whatever.
Orange punch to Santana with the chain. Trent hits a pile driver. Through like a. Oh, all right. The conclusion of this match ends with Trent hitting that like pile driver thing he does, where it's like in between, where like opponent's like in between his legs. I think it's called from what I've seen, the name of it is the crunchy. He hits it through like this board and then onto the bed of the truck that was there to win the match. That's crazy. That spot made me pop a little bit. That was definitely probably the biggest spot of the entire match, definitely, which is how it should be, honestly.
This match was everything you could have hoped for, man. I mean, and more. Like I think it
was so entertaining.
I think it exceeded expectations. It was great, obviously, that it was pre-recorded too, because that obviously helped a lot. Because do some edits, they could really. There was no live fans there, which is great too. Because with this whole pandemic, I don't think you really want fans in a circling around like that kind of thing right now. But it was really fun, man. Two great teams, two great characters. I don't know, it was just everything you could have asked for, like I said.
Yeah, also things to note that at one point they even had like one of the weapons that were even available was just like a door, like just like the door itself. There's no like you could see like where the handle would be to open the door. It's just a door. I don't know why that was there. It was just. Oh yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, it was in the back of the truck, so maybe the truck that they got was someone that was going to build a house or something, and that was the door.
I guess. I mean, I just can't imagine Tony Khan just going to a car dealership and like, yeah, I need like 8 cars. Like, who is this guy? Like,
not new ones though. At least for like somewhat old, except for like his like a truck. That's all.
Yeah, I can't. Dude, honestly though, like, do you think they could sell those cars now on like eBay? I think you could sell they could sell them for a lot of money. I feel like people are crazy. I feel like you could sell them for like AEW fans to like just to buy. I feel like someone will buy it.
I don't know what do they do with what wrestling shows do with like what they have cars that they destroy. Like what do they do with them afterwards?
I don't know, but I think someone would buy something memorabilia from that match.
Yeah, so they gotta sell them back to somewhere. So of course the end of the show is just being like the announcer's just like they did it for Sue, and then of course who shows up there to pick them up? It's Sue in her van.
and they all get. Trent got in there with his bloody back, and I was like, "What are you doing?"
They're gonna need to clean that up afterwards.
It's a brand new van, and you're bloodying it up.
Yeah, like they're gonna need to do some advanced cleaning for Trent's seat. And then they start driving off, and then the show ends with Sue giving one flip off to Santana Ortiz, and is driving off into the distance.
Yeah, that popped. I popped for that when I saw her flick her off, because that's just like it's just funny. I mean, it's just
because this is the fact that it's Sue, like it's someone's mom.
Yeah, like an older lady flicking off 2 guys because they lost, like because they're kind of bad.
The old
they said
man.
some mean things about her too. So there you go, Sue. Happy for her. I hope that's not the last we see of Sue.
Yeah, I could see there being more times.
Sue was on BTE this week again. She with Eddie Kingston cutting a promo on a cookie. I mean, it was funny. That was funny too. Just seeing Sue just makes things funnier.
So that was the show. It was a really good episode.
Yeah, next week looks really good. I'm excited to see Will Hobbs. I'm trying to even think of Orange Cassidy.
The Orange Cassidy, Mr. Brody Lee match.
What else is next week? Chris Jericho, do they face anybody?
I think I'm not too sure if he's actually going to be like wrestling, but they say he's supposed to be appearing in some aspect for the show. Same with the 1 hour special.
Yeah, and I'm sure, Kenny and Young Bucks and that whole thing's gonna keep going. There's a lot of stuff, man. Obviously the women's match. They're going full gear, no pun intended.
Yeah, TNT's letting them get an extra hour of show on Tuesday as well.
Yeah, and they were promoting like there was a commercial with TNT like promoting all of its products, and AEW was on it. So that's great to see as well, because you had the likes of the NBA and then all the shows that they show on TNT, and AEW was right there.
Yeah, it shows that they really trust in this show that they've been going on.
I'm really interested to see the viewership for tomorrow when they release the ratings. Did NXT, was that tonight or was it Tuesday again?
I'm pretty sure it was tonight. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll have to see, what that means for the ratings. Dude, if they could hit 1 million twice, I'll be crazy. But I know
be interesting.
I'd like to see the hour, how many people, because they can watch. You can see the rating per match. So it would be cool to see if it was what the rating was for the main event. But
so yeah, that's gonna have to do it in this week's episode. My name is Shawn Long.
I'm Justin Bradley.
Make sure you tune in next week for the next episode.